50 cal mixtape.
Yeah. Check. Yeah. Look. When the war is done, my God left a smoke in the air. He didn't try to run. He see the hunters, you shaking in fear. Taking your land, splitting the ends, we the heirs. Got an iron, I'm coming with heat to press him. He gotta see the sears. He gotta see the sears. They gotta see us, yeah. They gotta see the sears. Got an iron, I'm coming with heat to press him. He gotta see the sears. Took 12 to the head, now I'm back from the dead. Domes harder than a flint with all that lead. Made my forehead strong like Ezekiel said. If these cat won't smoke like Doja, paint his town red. Immortal bodies from the rapture. Flesh and bones torn from the rapture. Still black, Kodak moment camera couldn't capture. I'm back, crooked ways made straight, no chiropractor. Silver cord ripped, spine made loose. Colombian tie, hang 'em with a noose. Burn 'em up, watch 'em bubble like a goose. At ease, sore heads, we casting our shoes. Rod of iron, golden bowl broken. Ecclesiastes 12, picture leaking, blood soaking. Cut off his wheel, leave him heartbroken. Holding a two-edged sword, that's the word spoken.
The devil is loose and I got the truth and I ain't the only one with it. 143, 999 brothers, we all in the spirit. You be surprised the power you harness when you see a God in the mirror. You be surprised the power you harness when you know that sky's the limit. We beat expectations, we know that they hate it, just look at the look on their faces. We came in a slave ship, left in a spaceship, laughing at it as they chase it. The earth's in the hands of the wicked, but you know that we gonna take it. The nation and kingdom that won't serve us will be utterly wasted.
When the war is done, my God left a smoke in the air. He didn't try to run, he see the hunters, you shaking in fear. Taking your land, splitting the ends, we the heirs. Got an iron, I'm coming with heat to press him. He gotta see the sears. He gotta see the sears. They gotta see us, yeah. They gotta see the sears. Got an iron, I'm coming with heat to press him. He gotta see the sears.
The gods is back. Woke up, now we back with a vengeance. The gods is black. Melanated with a heavenly image. You out of whack. You think carnal weapons working against us. Your bones are cracked.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Most High in Christ bless. All right, good morning. It's still morning time, and this is Back to the Basics. All right, my name is Officer Akiem from New Orleans, and today's topic is lying. So the title is, Technically, I Didn't Lie. This is how black people think. All right, this is how black people think. This is what black people say. You've said it before. I've said it before. Let's stop being black. All right. So all praise to the Most High. Leadership came with this specific segment or class, Back to the Basics, to deal with the basic things. I know we like the breakdowns. We like the mysteries. We like all of that. But as Captain Mattathias stated when they did the sit down with the pastor, guess what? We got to focus on the things that's necessary to get in the kingdom, which is keeping God's commandments. All right? Guess what? Lying is breaking God's commandments. So now, let's get into the technicality, since black people like to be technical. A lie doesn't have to be spoken. That's one thing, right? Truth deliberately withheld to deceive can accomplish the same thing as a false statement. What is this called? This is called lying by omission, which we love to do. Let's get the first image. Read that for me.
Yes, sir. Check, check. Lying by omission is a form of deception where someone leaves out important facts, withholds key details, or fails to correct a false impression to intentionally mislead another person, even if the words they speak are technically true.
Okay. So It says, you could put me picture in picture. It says, lying by omission, a form of deception where someone leaves out important facts. There's people on social media, there's people in real life that you know will harp on the fact that, well, you didn't ask me that. You know the point of what I'm at. You know what we're trying to get to. But they're going to say, well, they leave out important facts. They withhold key details that will reveal exactly what it is you're trying to find out. Or if you make an assumption, if you say something, you throw something out there that's not true, guess what? They won't correct it because they want you to believe that versus finding out the truth. Okay? They intentionally mislead. Guess what? That's lying. It's called lying by omission. All right, you come back to me. See, a lie is saying something that's not true, right? But that's not all a lie is. There's different forms of lying. Being deceptive, right? Because when you be deceptive, it's broader. It's not just cut and dry as a lie, right? A person can only tell true statements and still deliberately lead somebody to a false conclusion. And guess what? I have met some of the best of them in my life. True statement. For example, right? You ask somebody, hey, where you went at after work? Oh, I had stopped by my friend's house. Did he lie? No. But what they didn't tell you is that, guess what? Somebody else was at the friend house. Somebody they wasn't supposed to be around. You understand? Then, when they come out, what happens? Well, you asked where I went. You ain't asked who was there. That's the BS that people do. We call it playing semantics. You understand? They be very indirect. They lie by omission. They bank on just giving you enough information to back you off of them. But guess what? The deeper issue is, did you withhold that information because you knew the complete truth would hold you accountable to something? And 10 times out of 10, that's what it is. Because guess what? That omission is going to reveal something. Now, let's open up with Proverbs 28 and 13. We got to just keep it real. Just tell the truth. Read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 13.
Hey, turn up in-house just a little bit. Go ahead.
He that covereth his sins shall not prosper.
He that covereth his sins shall not prosper. Because if you know, let's use the same example. You went by a friend's house, right? But you know there was somebody else that you're not supposed to be around, right? You know there was your ex was there, your baby mama was there, whoever was there, right? You know a brother that was put out of the body that we are not to have fellowship was there. You understand? You know that it was there, but you don't say, you leave that out because all you was asked was where you went at. You're covering your sins. You're not trying to confess. You're not trying to let it be known because guess what? If the conversation ends without that coming out, I dodged one. No. That does not omit the fact that lying by omission does not omit the fact that you in sin. Read it again.
He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy.
Notice the contrast between covering and confessing, right? When a person wants to avoid accountability, they want to cover, but they're gonna do it without lying technically. All right? But guess what? Confession, that doesn't mean giving the carefully edited version. No, when you confess, you're being transparent. And we're going to deal with that later. There's a difference between honesty and transparency. All right? Let's keep it going. Let's get Proverbs 12, verse 17.
Yes, sir. The book of Proverbs, chapter 12 and verse 17. He that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness.
Read it again. You pause. Read it again.
He that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness, but a false witness deceit.
So guess what? When you confess, when you're transparent, you're going to speak righteousness. You're going to say what it is, exactly what it is. But it said a false witness deceit. When you want to mislead, you're not going to answer a straight question. You just won't. You ask, hey, why you didn't make it here on time? Oh, I'm on my way. That's not what I asked you. You understand? Oh, well, did you know the time? No, nobody told me the time. But you did know the time. All it is, you go through all of these different hoops, answering the question indirectly instead of just telling the truth. And that's a telltale sign when somebody won't answer a yes or no question or a straightforward question. Read on.
Verse 18. There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is wealth.
There's some people you just dread asking them a question. You really don't want to ask because you know they're about to drag this out. They're about to go all around the world. They're about to beat around the bush instead of just, you know, they're about to lie. You just know you don't even really want to talk to them. Read on.
The lip of the truth shall be
read it right.
The lip of truth shall be established forever. But a lying tongue is but for a moment.
You know why a lying tongue is but for a moment? Because I think I'm about to jump out of order now. But it is what it is. Go to John chapter 3 and verse 20. And we might still use it later on. But this is why lying lips is but for a moment. Read that. John 3 and 20.
The book of John, chapter 3 and verse 20. For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light. Neither cometh to the light.
Right?
Lest his deeds should be reproved.
That's only gonna last for a certain amount of time. You know why? Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12 is at the end. Every work should be brought into judgment. The truth is going to come to the light. Now, those that work evil, you hate the light. But guess what? Lying lips is only for a moment. Because you know how you deal with somebody that's a liar? Liars hate questions. They hate detail. They hate detailed questions. Just keep asking them questions. Liars hate that. So lying lips is only but for a moment. Read.
Yes, sir. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 14. For God shall bring every work into judgment.
Boom, there it is. Every lying lips. So if you're a liar, whether you try to lie by omission, and later on we're going to deal with the different reasons why we lie, right? But guess what? It's only for a moment. So we have to purge that spirit. Read on.
With every secret thing.
Every secret thing. Because, okay, you may know or think that you got away. We may think that we got away, but guess what? The Lord already knows. And it's only a matter of time before the Lord brings it out. Read that scripture again from the top.
Yes, sir. For God shall bring every work into judgment. With every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
That's right. Now go back to Proverbs 12, but jump to verse 22.
Yes, sir. Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 22. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord.
God hates a liar. It doesn't matter how you try to dress up the lie or how you may try to, I told her technically, like the title of the class, technically I didn't lie. I answered what you asked me. Like, brother, did you lay down with the sister? No. Now, the brother know he done got oral sex from the sister. But he don't say that because they didn't ask that. But it's still fornication. But the brother just, keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing ever happened. Well, they didn't ask me, did I commit fornication? They didn't ask me, did I get oral? They asked me, did I lay down with the sister? Bro, you're still guilty of sin. Lying by omission is still lying. All right, where we at?
At the end of 22.
Finish out 22.
But they that deal truly are his delight.
Now, go to Proverbs 10 and 19.
Yes, sir.
This is another thing. This is lying by omission, or with people who want to avoid accountability. This is a trait. Read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 10 and verse 19.
Uh-huh.
In the multitude of words, there wanted not sin.
Meaning, in so many words, elaborate responses, beating around the bush, not answering what you ask. Guess what? When it said wanted, meaning that lacks not sin, there is sin in there. You just got to ask the right questions to figure out what the sin is. Read on.
But he that refraineth his lips is wise.
Refraining his lips meaning how? Get Matthew 5 and 37. How do you refrain your lips? Guess what? Yes, it's talking about it's talking about keep your speech short. Just bring it out. Just speak plain. Say what it is. Read.
Matthew chapter 5 and verse 37. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil.
And that's what, because now, like Bishop always say, you're trying to talk me into oblivion. You're trying to confuse me. That's why it's said at the end of that, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. Because why? They're just going to, brother, did you lay down with the sister? No, sir. But I did do this, that, and the third, and I understand that that's fornication. That's it. But when you got to say, no, you got the leadership already know what's going on. Now I got to get dragged out. Now we got to play the game. Now we got to ask you further questions and bring out even more details because you want to omit things and not just be transparent. Notice I didn't say honest, transparent. Okay? Now, can't answer simple questions with just a straight answer. I want 2 Corinthians 3 and 12. It's just a specific piece I want out of there.
Yes, sir. The book of 2 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 12. Seeing that then we have such hope. We use great plainness of speech.
That's it. That's the part I want. Use great plainness of speech, not gray area, not vagueness. You understand? Answer the question. Now get that Ephesians 4 and 25.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 4 and verse 25. Wherefore, putting away lying.
That's how you put away lying. Great plainness of speech. Read.
Speak every man truth with his neighbor.
That's it. Tell the truth. Put away lying. Don't omit certain things that's still lying because you did not say what it was. Brother, did you steal the money? No, sir. Meanwhile, the brother done stole a laptop. The brother done stole all kind of other things. He know he don't. But you didn't ask, did I steal? You said, did I steal the money? Bro, we not gonna be able to play them games with the Lord. Now, that was the end of that. Get me. Now I'm gonna get that one later. Now, omission is an accountability. It's a way to escape accountability. That's what it is, right? Peep the chain of events, right? I did something wrong. I know the truth to bring accountability. I control what information that I give you. I avoid the details that's uncomfortable that's going to get me caught up. Therefore, I can avoid accountability. That's what it is. Now, let's play the video. The video is going to let us know. Go ahead.
Attachment or even a secure attachment, you value honesty
Turn it up.
and
Hey,
transparency.
turn up the in-house.
You want to
a
know
little
what's going to
more.
happen in advance. You want someone to follow through whenever they say they're going to do something. And if plans change, you want open communication. An issue
Start
whenever
the video
you're in a
over.
romantic relationship with
I can't hear that much in here, y'all. I don't know what it is. I hope it's loud enough online. Let's go.
If you have an anxious attachment or even a secure attachment, you value honesty and transparency. You want to know what's going to happen in advance. You want someone to follow through whenever they say they're going to do something. And if plans change, you want open communication. An issue whenever you are in a romantic relationship with someone who has avoidant tendencies is that they are going to avoid accountability.
Now, that's
ways
the point. They want to avoid accountability. Now, she's talking about the screen black, y'all. She's talking about in relationships, but guess what? We're talking about just period in general. All right? We good? All right. Now, play on.
try to avoid accountability is lying by omission. Not all of them, granted, but it is one of the things that I see very, very often is that they'll be like, well, I didn't exactly say that I was going to do X, Y, and Z.
Hey,
or
the disclaimer not up, yo.
About
Disclaimer not up.
this
Pause
specific
it,
thing.
pause it, pause it. Pause it. The disclaimer not up. On the scene, make sure y'all got the right video capture device up. Make sure it is the same thing that's selected for the camera. All right? And let's run the video back, please. And if y'all can turn it up a little more in here, I hope it's loud enough online, but we can't hear it in here. All right, let's get it together. We got the disclaimer. Bear with us, y'all. Bear with us. Bear with us. Again, like I was saying, lying by omission is a way to escape accountability. All right? That is the goal. We good? What's the issue? It should be the same thing as the camera. All right. While we trying to get that together, just give me the image. Give me the image. We're gonna come back. Give me the next image on honesty and transparency. All right, let's read that.
Yes, sir. Honesty and transparency are both vital for trust, but they differ fundamentally in action.
All right, so as far as being trustworthy, yes, they go hand in hand, but it says they differ fundamentally in action, meaning how they are used or which one you apply is different. Read.
Honesty is reactive, while transparency is proactive.
And it's going to break it down. Read.
Honesty means telling the truth when asked, whereas transparency means sharing information freely before any questions arise.
And that's why we said earlier, when you're being transparent, you're confessing. That's being forthcoming. All right? It's not withholding. It's being plain. When you're being honest, what people always say when you ask them the question, you want me to be honest? No, I want you to lie. Yes, be honest. But again, honesty comes after being asked the question. Transparency is being upfront, coming outright and saying what it is. All right, go back. Scroll up. Come on.
Key differences: honesty, telling the factual truth only when a direct question is posed.
Right, because again, and that goes with a lot of people who omit truth. Guess what? They say, well, I was honest. I answered what you asked me, right? But look at the difference. Read.
Transparency, voluntarily sharing context, plans, and details to present voluntarily sharing context, plans, and details to prevent guesswork and doubt.
And guess what? You're not going to leave no gray area. You're not going to leave it's no room for confusion. It's plain and simple. You're going to say what it is. Read on.
Timing, honesty responds after an inquiry or suspicion.
Read.
Transparency clears the path before doubt begins.
And that's what it is. Read on.
Function,
I like this part.
honesty unlocks the door when knocked.
Uh-huh.
Transparency leaves the door wide open.
And that's what we're talking about. Being transparent, that's the purest form of telling the truth. Okay? Honesty does not always mean you're being truthful. You understand? Now, we ready for the video? No, that makes no sense. You're playing it's the same thing as the camera. So you just switching, just like you're going back and forth. All right, now where we at? Get that's throwing me off. No, I'm not ready for Why Do People Lie. I want the video. All right, so what I got here, y'all bear with us. What I got here, honesty versus transparency, right? Honesty says what I told you was true. Transparency says I gave you the truth. You needed to understand what actually happened. Okay, that's two different things. They overlap, but they're not identical. All right? Someone can be factually honest while deliberately not being transparent. For example, a husband would say, a woman from work texted me. That's honest, right? But if he doesn't disclose the fact that they've been texting for weeks, you understand? They've been texting every day. Now, imagine his wife discovers that and say, I told you she texted me. That's not the same thing. All right? He disclosed the fact, but he withheld the context necessary to understand the fact. Okay? Understand that. Honesty concerns the truthfulness of what you say. Transparency concerns whether you're intentionally hiding relevant truth. Now, let's get some examples. Now, let's go to Genesis. Let's get a situation with Abraham and Sarah. Genesis 20 and verse 2, right? This is technically true, but intentionally incomplete. Read.
The book of Genesis, chapter 20 and verse 2.
Uh-huh.
And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah.
So, was Abraham lying when he said that Sarah was his sister? No. Let's go to where we at? Genesis chapter, is it 12? No. Let's get Genesis 11 verse 27.
The book of Genesis, chapter 11 and verse 27. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram.
So Terah begot Abram. Read.
Nahor and Haran. And Haran begot Lot.
Now, get verse 29.
Yes, sir. Verse 29. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah. And the daughter of Haran, and the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah.
Now, go to verse 31.
Yes, sir. Verse 31. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, and his son Abram's wife. And they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees.
Now, when you look up Sarah's lineage, it says Sarah was, hold on, bear with me. Go back to Genesis 22. I got to find this part.
Yes, sir. The book of Genesis, chapter 20 and verse 2. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, thou art but a dead man. For the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife.
Now, that point right there, did Abraham lie when he said, this is my sister? No, he didn't. Why? Go to verse 12.
Yes, sir.
This is the point I wanted.
Verse 12. And yet, indeed, she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father.
Right.
But not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife.
So he was truthful. He was honest. That is his sister. But he left out the fact that that was his wife. Now, why did he do it? Jump up to verse 11.
Yes, sir. Verse 11. And Abraham said, because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place. And they will slay me for my wife's sake.
That's why he did it. But that's the difference between honesty and transparency. Because transparency would have said, this is my wife. But because he thought that they would kill him, he was only honest and said, this is my sister. Both of them true. One tells the whole story. That's what we want to get you to see. All right? Now, let's get why, and also like we said, verse 11, it was fear, right? And fear is a perfect reason or example of why people lie. We fear certain things, certain outcomes, what will happen. Like Abraham feared he would be put to death for them wanting to take his wife. All right, now let's get Saul. Now, somehow, some way, Saul always comes up in my classes. He just do it, no matter what the topic is. Saul is an example for the books. All right. Let's get 1 Samuel chapter 15. Let's start at let's start at verse 1.
Yes, sir. The book of 1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus said the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way.
So the Lord remember, guess what? Amalek, they came against us. The Lord didn't forget that. Read.
When he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass.
So now that was the order given to King Saul, right? Now, jump to verse 9.
Yes, sir. Verse 9. But Saul and the people spared Agag.
That went against the order, read.
And the best of the sheep.
That went against the order, read.
And of the oxen, and of the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile and refuse, that they destroyed utterly.
So, he got the order. He went against the order. But let's see how this play out. Jump to verse 12.
Verse 12. And when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about, and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord. I have performed the commandment of the Lord.
Now, this is why you have to ask people questions, right? Because he said, okay, I did what the Lord said. Technically, but not exactly. Read on.
And Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleeding? One more
Read
time.
it again from the top.
Yes, sir. And Samuel said, What meaning then this bleeding of the sheep in mine ears, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear?
Because he was told to slay all the animals and everybody. So he said, I performed the commandment of the Lord. Samuel hit him with a question. Then why do I hear sheep and oxen? Read on.
And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites.
See, it says they. They have brought them. That's that again, like we going to, is to avoid accountability. When people lie by omission, they avoid accountability. Because once you start hitting them with questions on details, then they start to shift the blame. They lack accountability. All right? Now, read on.
For the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed.
So now, you got to think about it. First is I obeyed. Then there's evidence that you didn't obey. Then, well, here's what actually happened. But there was a good reason that we did it. And technically, the people did it. You see how it's no accountability. Because the people was under his command. He's the king. There's no accountability. Then comes that justifying spirit. That's why he tried to give a good reason for it. When you read down, you read the history. We're not going to read the whole thing for time's sake. Get Job 9 and 20. The justifying spirit is a relative to the avoiding accountability and lying by omission. Read that.
The book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 20. If I justify myself, mine own mouth shall condemn me.
Why? Because in the multitude of words that lack it not sin. The more you talk, the longer you drag it out, the worse that it gets. The more questions that we have to ask, the more details that we have to pull, the worse it's going to get, and the worse you're going to look to people. And then people often become more transparent as evidence removes their ability to conceal the truth. That's why you constantly question them. All right? That's not voluntary transparency. That's when now they have to be transparent. They got to disclose the truth under pressure. All right? Can we get the video now? All right. Let's move on to why do people lie? We're going to read the list, and then we're going to come back. All right? Take your time, read the list.
Yes, sir. Number 2, why do people lie? This is where I'd go psychologically. One more time. This is where I go psychological with it. Most lies have a purpose. The lie is usually protecting something. You could put this question on the screen. What is your lie protecting? Then fear. What will happen if they know? Image. What will they think of me? Consequences. I don't want correction, punishment, or accountability. Gain. The truth might cost me money, opportunity, status, or access. Control. If I control what you know, I can control what you decide. Shame. I don't want anybody knowing I did that. People pleasing. Telling different people different things because you want everyone's approval. Habit. Someone lies so frequently that dishonesty becomes their first response. Sin prevention. The truth would expose something they intend to continue doing.
All right, now let's come back to me. Now, can we get the video? We're gonna come back to this part. I really wanted to get to that video because the video helped drive a couple things home. Can we play the video?
If you have an anxious attachment or even a secure attachment, you value honesty and transparency. You want to know what's going to happen in advance. You want someone to follow through whenever they say they're going to do something. And if plans change, you want open communication. An issue whenever you are in a romantic relationship with someone who has avoidant tendencies is that they are going to avoid accountability. One of the ways that they will try to avoid accountability is lying by omission. Not all of them, granted, but it is one of the things that I see very, very often is that they'll be like, well, I didn't exactly say that I was going to do X, Y, and Z. Or, well, you didn't ask me about this specific thing. So then they're like, well, it was your responsibility to ask the right questions to get the information that you wanted. And they get really pissed when you start asking tons of questions to get all of the information after they just said that to you. So the next time you argue and you're asking 50 different questions, they're like, oh my gosh, you're so insecure. You're asking me 50 different questions about the situation. And you're like, well, yeah, because the last time it was my fault that you didn't include information when we were having the conversation. So now it's my responsibility to ask.
Pause.
Because otherwise.
And then that's the point that people don't understand is that now you don't trust them. Now they have lost trust because they fail to be transparent. They fail to just speak plain, to say what it is. They want to only give you enough to back you off of them. And you can't trust people like that. But they like to omit things. Lying by omission is a way to avoid accountability. That's how people try to be slick. All right. And that video goes with what we dealt with King Saul. It makes the point of what we were bringing out. All right. Now, go back to, never mind, not a class, it's just all right. Let's go back to why do people lie? But ask yourself this question, right? Or ask the person this question. If nobody confronted you, would you have ever told the whole story? Ask that question, all right? Why do people lie?
Yes, sir. Why do people lie? This is where I'd go psychological with it. Most lies have a purpose. The lie is usually protecting something.
Nobody, well, I can't say nobody, but most people don't lie just to lie, right? There's always something deeper there. Scroll up.
What is your lie protecting? Fear. What will happen if they know?
So that was Abraham. Abraham said, well, if they know that this is my wife, they might kill me, right? Read on.
Image. What will they think of me?
And a lot of people, we negate the fact that we did what we did. We was being who we are, what we wanted to do behind closed doors and when we thought nobody was looking. But now we're worried about what people would think, right? Get Sirach 23, I think it's verse 19, such as only fill the eyes of men. I think it's 23:19.
Yes, sir.
Read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men.
Right. So when you lie because of your image, wondering what they think of me, guess what? We need to be worried about what the Lord thinks and what he knows. Read.
And know it not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men,
All the ways of men.
and considering the most secret parts.
So even when we think that we was doing and people didn't know about it, guess what? The Lord knew it. The Lord saw it. The angel saw it. And we already read earlier. Go back to that Ecclesiastes 12 and 14. Let's put these two together to make it plain. We have to get out of that spirit of lying for whatever the reason is, because at the end of the day, it doesn't help us. Read.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 14. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Exactly. Now, let's go back. Let's go to the next one.
Consequences. I don't want correction, punishment, or accountability.
But we just read, so that's why people avoid accountability, right? They don't want to get corrected. They don't want to get whatever the judgment is going to be or accountability. But guess what? We just read God is going to bring every work into judgment. We all have to stand before the Lord on Judgment Day. What's that is? Is that, let me see. Hold up. Let me look at something real quick. No. Revelation 20 and 4. That's what I want. Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. Come on with it.
The book of Revelations, chapter 20 and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them.
Uh-huh.
And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus. And for
No, that ain't what I want. Wrong scripture. Verse 12. That's what I want. My bad.
No problem. Revelation chapter 20 and verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God.
Stand before God.
And the books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life.
Uh-huh.
And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works.
And that goes directly with Ecclesiastes 12 and 14. So none of us will escape judgment. So lying to avoid a consequence makes no sense. Remember, we read, he that confesseth shall have mercy. He that confesseth and forsake. All right, let's go to the next one.
Gain. The truth might cost me money, opportunity, status, or access.
Now, this is why, let's get that in Acts chapter 5 with Ananias and Sapphira. This is why they lied. Gain. A lot of people lie for what they think they're going to lose. Read that.
Acts chapter 5 and verse 1. But a certain man named Ananias, with Sapphira, his wife, sold a possession.
Read.
And kept back part of the price. His wife also being privy to it, and brought a certain part, and laid it at the apostles' feet.
Now, let's see what a lie coming at. Read.
But Peter said, Ananias, why had Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Ghost, and to keep back part of the price of the land?
Right. You saying what you sold it for is not what you sold it for. Read.
Whilst it remained, was it not thine own?
Read.
And after it was sold, was it not in thine own power?
You could have said what you sold it for and gave what you wanted to give. Nothing wrong with that. Read.
Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine heart?
Read.
Thou hast not lied unto men, but unto God.
And that's the point we have to understand. When we lie, we are lying to the Most High God. We're not lying to men. Go to the next one.
Control. If I control what you know, I can control what you decide.
And that's what truth omitters do. Read.
Shame. I don't want anybody knowing I did that.
And that go back to what we read up at the top. Guess what? The Lord already know. If you don't want nobody to know, you shouldn't have did it. Read the next one.
People pleasing. telling different people different things because you want everyone's approval.
Don't be this person. Uh Man, what's that scripture just popped in my mind? Read the next one while I think it is.
Habit. Someone lies so frequently that dishonesty becomes their first response.
Now this is the worst. This is somebody that just lie on the damn but think twice about lying. What's your name, Ricky? Brother brother named James. He just so used to lying. You ask him, bro, what's your name, Ricky? I mean, James. He like, bro, we all know somebody like this. You ever, like, they got some people, you make up a story. It is made up. You just thought of it. Yeah, I remember that. Bro, I just made that up. How you remember something I just made up? You telling the story, brother won't be included. Yep. Bro, I didn't even know you at the time. Telling you, them people that lie by habit, get away from them. Go back.
Sin prevention. The truth would expose something they intend to continue doing.
And that's the thing. That's it right. This is where I want John 3:20. Let's go back to that.
The book of John, chapter 3 and verse 20. For everyone that doeth evil hated the light.
Yes, guess what? They're going to lie because guess what? They want to, it's sin preservation. The truth would expose something they intend to continue doing. That's why people don't keep it real. You ask a brother that they're going to give you a generic, a vague, a gray area answer, they're not ready to stop. They want to continue. All right, was that the end of the list? All right, let me go back to my notes. Now, give me Leviticus 19 and 11.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 11. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another.
The Bible says don't do it. Don't deal falsely. That's still lying. Don't lie one to another. Don't do it. That is a law. That is a commandment. Get Sirach 7:13.
Yes, sir. The book of
I'm sorry. Ephesians 6 and verse 6. Go back to the let's read so we get the thought again. People pleasing, read that one again.
People pleasing, telling different people different things because you want everyone's approval.
Now let's read the Ephesians 6 and 6.
Yes, sir. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 6. Not with eye service as men pleasers, but as the servants of Christ.
So guess what? Don't be a man pleaser. Don't be that person. You lie because you want to people please. Don't be that person, because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna like you. All right. Let's see. Do I want this? Get Galatians, chapter 1, verse 10.
Yes, sir. The book of Galatians, chapter 1 and verse 10. For do I now persuade men or God? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet pleased men, I should not be the servant of Christ.
That's it right there. So don't be a person that you lie, you tell brothers what they want to hear, you tell sisters what they want to hear. That you don't make for a good friend. All right? Even if you think that gets you liked now, it's going to get you hated later. So lying just doesn't help us in no way, shape, or form. Now get the Sirach 7:13.
The book of Sirach, chapter 7 and verse 13. Use not to make any manner of lie.
Just don't do it. Whether it's lying by omission, whether it's whatever the different type of lie you think you telling, don't do it. No such thing as a little lie. No such thing as a white lie. That get people killed. Use not any manner of lying. Read it again.
Use not to make any matter of lie,
Read.
for the custom thereof is not good.
That it don't get no plainer than that. Just don't do it. Get Sirach 20 and verse 24.
The book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse 24. A lie is a foul blot in a man.
Because if you a lie, what the old folks used to say, if you a lie, you'll steal. If you'll steal, you'll kill. That's a true statement. Because then what you going to do to protect that lie? If you ever watch How to Get Away with Murder, it's so much sin and killing and so much things that was compounded to protect a lie. Read that again.
Yes, sir. A lie is a foul blot in a man.
Uh-huh.
Yet it is continually in the mouth of the untaught.
The untaught. God's commandments is not sticking fast. You have not come to understand judgment for lying. Like we was reading in Acts 5 and 1, their judgment, they was put to death on the spot. And Peter even asked him questions. And the wife had a chance. But she continued with the lie. Read on.
A thief is better than a man that is accustomed to lie.
Because a thief, okay, you missing some stuff. You know what I'm saying? But lying will get you killed. Read.
But they both shall have destruction to heritage.
Read on.
The disposition of a liar is dishonorable,
Uh-huh.
and his shame is ever with him.
So don't lie. Stop lying. Thou shalt not lie. All right? Now, I have these questions, right? Let's just meditate on these, right? As you think back on the class. When you're confronted or when you're in a situation, right? Do I answer the question that was asked or answer around it? Because this is what, well, a lot of times they don't think just do. But do I answer the question that was asked or answer around it? The answer is you tell what needs to be known. Confess. Tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. All right? Now, but this is the self-examination things, right? Do I answer questions that was asked or do I beat around the bush, right? Do I leave details out because I know as that's going to change someone's reaction? Do I use technically true statements to create false impressions? Do people have to ask me 5 questions before they get the whole story? When confronted, do I immediately explain or confess? Do I minimize facts with words like only, just, basically, technically? I always say when people use adjectives when they have to describe what they're saying, it's some BS. As the same thing as a multitude of words that wanted not sent. All right. Do I tell different versions depending on who's listening? Do I hide behind you didn't ask? If everything I intentionally left out were revealed, will my original answer still look truthful? These are the things we got to ask ourselves to purge. Because if the answer is yes to these, we gotta fix it. We got to get rid of that lying spirit. All right? So that's going to be my class. Some stuff I jumped around and kind of missed. But, again, the title of the class was Technically I Didn't Lie. Because this is very common, right? But we have to purge that spirit. Speak truth to our neighbor. Tell the whole story. Confess. All right? I'm Officer Akiem from New Orleans. I pray y'all got something from that class. Shalom.